one of the advanced manuals. It's a 5 to 7 minute speech, and it takes care of the Speaking in Praise project in that manual. But it also has a very special meaning to those of us who have been a member of Queen City for a while, because she's going to speak in praise of someone who was a very dear, very important member of this club for many years who we lost recently. So with that, please allow me to introduce with her speech this evening in memoriam, Sonia Perez.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome 5 or 4 guests. I will move closer to the podium in case I have to make reference to my notes. You will look back? You will look back. Tonight I'm going to speak to you about one of our longest and most distinguished members of Queen City Toastmasters, the late Rick Pasolo. It is an honor for me tonight to share with you some of the memories that I have from the experiences that I enjoyed through the mutual membership at Queen City Toastmasters. He was definitely a very valued member. Rick passed away in October 15th, and I just learned about it a couple of weeks ago. And I thought, wow, a fitting tribute to him to say something about him, because he was a member for so long. Rick was a dedicated Toastmasters. He did many of the functions of the club over the years that he was a member. And he held the presidency position several times and was very motivated at getting awards. So we tracked everything, new members and speeches and everything, so we could get those awards. He took a lot of pride on seeing the club grow and also getting those awards, and that was a beautiful thing. Now, Rick was also a very tough evaluator, and very much by the rules Toastmasters. And when you got evaluated by Rick, you got the truth. It wasn't varnish. He told you what he felt, and he knew the manuals very well, and he would give you an evaluation that was full of content and that told you what you did well, what you needed to improve, not only on the composition of the speech, but on the delivery. And because he was such a tough evaluator, many of us got our feelings hurt on a regular basis. So one of our members, Irene Humbert, had to do a speech from the same book that I'm doing, and he was doing a roast. And she had a bone to pick, and Rick was an easy target. So she decided, I'm going to roast Rick. And when she started the roast and did all her exaggerated appreciations or observations of Rick's idiosyncrasy, we were laughing. I mean, we were stitches. It was hilarious because she was telling the truth in an exaggerated way, really for the purpose of levity, because it was not intended to hurt his feelings, and he took it very well. And you know why he took it very well? He really, in a way, didn't care, because Rick was very demanding, and he demanded of himself excellence, and he demanded excellence of everybody else. So for him, the roast was almost an honor that we identified all the things that he did. So that was very nice. I always remember it because it was funny, but it was also a nice thing that we did. He loved to learn, and he was so much involved in Toastmasters activities that we had the opportunity to go to Hickory for the original meeting. And in the way back, he was sharing with me his interest for languages. I don't know if you knew, but he was bilingual. French was his second language. And so he was sharing the fact that he used a catalog of a company that produced a lot of college-level courses, and he took a lot of courses from this company. Well, I love to learn too, so I said, oh, bring the catalog. I want to see those those courses. I want to see if I can take some. And because of his enthusiasm and the willingness to share ideas and to share his knowledge, I also became an avid user of those compact discs and videos from the teaching company. And I have been using and learning from the teaching company since 2003. Rick also shared with me some things that it was not intentional for me to learn, but that I learned through him. Before I met Rick, I had never heard of the Libertarian Party. I'm sorry, but I didn't know there was a third party. But there is. So Rick was a libertarian, and he was a very active libertarian. Actually, he had run for the U.S. Senate, North Carolina representative in the U.S. Senate in 1980. He didn't win, but he was very involved in politics. And, I grew up in Puerto Rico, where at the time it was like 97% were Catholics, and atheists. What is an atheist? I've never seen one. Well, I saw one when I met Rick, because he was very clear that he was an atheist. And because of my relationship with him, and I felt very comfortable asking questions, I learned quite a bit of why he believed that atheism was the right thing for him. And he even shared with me some of the books that he thought I should read about this subject, and I did read some of those books, so I could learn and understand where he was coming from. One of the things that is interesting is we didn't share commonality in politics or religion, but that didn't matter, because we respected one another, and I could have worked with him on any project, on anything, because he was that kind of man. He was a professional, very knowledgeable, and just a very nice person. As I mentioned, he died on October 15th. I didn't know he had died. I had not seen him since 2004 when I left the club, and then I rejoined for a little while in Belmont with the Die Hard Club. But when I learned that he had died, I felt so much sadness, because I wish I had known his family, or I wish I had known somebody I could call and say, listen, he really made an impact on us, and certainly on me, and he would be missed. He would be very missed. I asked a lot about him when I first came. Where's Rick? And I didn't know he had passed. Now, I know that Rick didn't believe in the afterlife. I mean, he had told me he didn't believe in the afterlife. However, if I could talk with Rick, or if I could say something to him, I would say, Rick, you didn't believe in the afterlife, but wherever you are, I want you to rest in peace.